National perspective.
The Windsor pack is the only pack that is usually filled when the West Indies team is playing. If you look at Trinidad, the pack is empty. Barbados, the pack is empty. Antigua don't even bother go to cricket anymore.
It's Sports Connection on Kyrie FM. Every Tuesday from 6:30 p.m. We agree to disagree. But at the end, we do it in the inches of sports development in Dominica.
I heard Dominicans trying to defend dropping Shane, and I was pretty upset.
Sports Connection every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. right here on Kyrie FM. You just have to listen.
We say a very pleasant good evening to all of us listeners, those of us who are tuned in on 88.7. We say a pleasant good evening. Those of us who are tuned in 93.1 or 107.9, we also say a pleasant good evening. Those of us who are following via the Facebook Live, we also say it's always a pleasure, as usual, when you're part of our audience. It's another Tuesday here in the studios of Kyrie FM, and we have quite a few things, quite a few developments in sports over the past week, and quite a few activities this evening. I will be joined by my usual co-host, Mr. Anthony Scotland, who will be joining us via the Zoom. There are quite a few things that we are going to be discussing this evening. Quite a few stuff, but we are going to take some words from our sponsors, and then we will be right back as we continue with this week's vision of the Sports Connection.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
We bring it to you from a local, regional, and international perspective.
The Windsor pack is the only pack that is usually filled when the West Indies team is playing. If you look at
from the Buffer Point Sports Club, and it's a very active sports committee down there in the south. And Sean Martin is supposed to be joining us this evening. Do we have Sean Martin connected to first? Sean, good evening. Good evening, Sean. All right, we seem to be having a little bit of problems here to connect with Sean via the Zoom, and but what we can tell you is this weekend the Buffer Point Sports Club will be having its the 8 versus 8 football competition. Last weekend we had the Bollarama, I can tell you, and I think Sean is with us. Sean, pleasant good evening and welcome to the Sports Connection.
Yeah, good evening, you dear, and thanks for having me. Good evening to all your listeners.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have a man like you in the house, because when we say Sean Martin, especially in the south, that name is synonymous to sports leadership. And down there in the south, I think you're the president of the Buffer Point Sports Club. Is that correct, Sean?
Yeah, that's right. I'm the president of the Buffer Point Sports Club, from representing Bagatelle, Fonseca, Point Carib, and Sto.
And I think that is where we got the term Buffer Point.
Buffer Point, yeah.
That's right. Sean, you know, I've worked with you guys in the past, and it was always a pleasure. And I think you guys have a serious team and can be a trailblazer for community sports in Dominica. And we've just lifted the the protocols and upon as it relates to the COVID situation in Dominica, and I knew that you guys would have been planning irrespective of the fact that COVID was there. So as soon as the COVID ban would have been lifted, that you guys are ready to start. And indeed, you guys have made a start. Could you bring us up to speed as to what's happening with the football competition down there in the south?
Okay, so currently we're having a 8-on-8 football competition, medium-sized goal. It comprises of 6 teams, our usual six teams from the community of Bagatelle, Fort St. Jean, Point Carib. And so each team will be representing different hamlets of the communities. And for our first time, we are allowing players from the surrounding communities to participate in the league. I know before in our past competitions, we used to get a lot of blows from the other community sportsmen because they felt that we weren't inviting them to our leagues. But basically, it's a community league, but we have decided to include the sportsmen and women from in the case of the football, the sportsmen from the different communities. And so each team is allowed free members or free players from outside of the Baffin Point community. So we had the Bollarama on Sunday. It was successful. Fort St. Jean FC, they emerged the champions, the Bollarama champions. And they came up against Project Eagles from Bagatelle. And it was exciting finals. And they won 1-0. So we're looking forward to the league itself, which starts on Saturday. There will be 1 game on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. And going forward, we're going to have a round robin, and the top 4 teams will advance to a semi-final stage and then to a final stage, to the finals.
Yeah, but Sean, you mentioned the teams being from the various areas. Could you give us the names of those teams? Those teams, I think they're pretty interesting names.
Yeah, well, the names are representative of, the hamlets, the different hamlets. So we have, where I live in right now, it's a part of Bagatelle called Sene. It's across the bridge. So we have a team there called Hillside. There's the center of the village, Project. So they call themselves the Project Eagles. And there's another hamlet in Bagatelle called Cadbois. Right? Some of you who know Cadbois, who know Bagatelle, know when you meet the church and you take a left. So that area is called Cadbois. And there's Fort St. Jean. Fort St. Jean, there's 1 team, and then we have Fab Gunners. All right, that's Retiro. And then we have Point Carib. They call themselves Pitong. So representing for Point Carib. So there's the 6 teams representing 6 different areas of the community. So you have players coming out you have guys coming out from all over the community they might be representing their area, or some of them are playing for other teams that are not necessarily where they live in, but they would represent, once they are from the area, they can represent any team. Once they are from the community, they can represent any team.
And I think the reason is, one of the reasons why that happens is because some areas are more populated than the others, or some of the footballers.
Well, yes.
So that to spread it, we have that plan in place.
Yes, well, so that was one of the reasons, because you'll find, like you said, so the areas you'll find there'll be a larger concentration of a certain set of athletes than the other areas. So you'll find, and then it's just, in the community, you find even if a guy is staying in one particular area, he might be spending most of his days in another area
because of family links.
Yeah. So you'll find he's staying for St. Jean, but some in Bagatelle, he's spending all his days. So yeah, so you have guys, they will say, okay, for cricket, you'll find some guys, they're representing one particular hamlet. For basketball, they're on a different hamlet team. For football, they're on a different hamlet. But one thing that don't change is the fans there.
Yeah,
the fans remain loyal to
their area.
To their area, yeah, because that's where you live in, that's where you stay. So you cannot say, well, I'm going to support Force Asia tomorrow when he's Catboy from. So yeah.
Yeah, but Sean, while I will not be able to join us on Sunday because of other activities, you know, I wear many hats as it relates to sports in Dominica.
Yes.
And I will not be able to join you guys on Sunday. What color shirt should I put when I'm coming?
Well, Sunday you need to put green, you know, because that's my team. We're playing on Sunday. We're playing against the Bolorama champions, Force Asia FC. And we have a score to settle because they knock us out in the Bolorama. And I know my guys are looking forward to play them their first game on Sunday at 3 o'clock. So wear your green, man, and come and give Seni some support because we are the underdogs.
Yeah, but the games over the weekend, we're having 3 games over the weekend, isn't that so?
Yes, so every weekend there'll be 3 games, one on Saturday. The one on Saturday starts at 4 o'clock. And the one on Sunday, 2 on Sunday, the first game starts at 3 and the second starts at 4:30.
Okay, so on Saturday, what will be the matchups like on Saturday?
On Saturday, which will be the opening game, we'll have Kadboa versus Project Eagles. Kadboa Wildcats versus the Project Eagles. That's at 4. Then the first game on Sunday, we'll see Hillside come up against the Bolorama champions, which is the Force Asia FC. And the following that game, we'll have Pitong coming up against Fab Gunners.
All right.
So it should be a very exciting weekend of football action in Bagatelle.
You know, interesting stuff happening, Sean. But I just want to remind our listeners that if they want to engage Sean Martin, who is the president of the Bafo Point Sports Club, that the numbers to call are 4487-334 or 305-906-6186. Sean, you have been doing tremendously well as a community leader as it relates to sports, and you indicated that you've been getting flack from the neighboring communities such as what used to be what's the name right across the corner from Geneva, Jubic. I know you've been getting some flack from them and maybe in the Grand area
my people, man.
wanting to play. And I like the fact during the previous set of competitions that it limited the competition to just the members of the community of the Bafo Point general area, yes. Because it allowed those people from the area to be involved in sports, providing opportunities for sports.
Yeah, and that was one of the main reasons why we did not include outside players, because we wanted more persons to participate in, because initially when we started our competitions, it was more to bring out the community, and then so that was our intention at first. And then, well, now that we have outgrown that, I mean, we see a lot of persons participating, and so we have decided right now to include our friends and our fellow neighboring communities. But one of the things that is lacking in the South, in terms of sports, is competitions for these communities, for all the communities. But in the past, we used to have competitions among ourselves, the different communities. And so presently, you find we having a competition in Bagatelle, and you'll always find that the surrounding communities want to participate because there's no other competition. So going forward, I think one of the things that we need to really do or concentrate on is really introducing competitions in the South that will incorporate all the different communities like we used to have in the past.
Sean, you're talking like a true leader, and I mean, you remember prior to the start of COVID, we were just about setting up for a Rounders League in the South and setting up for Softball Cricket League and also for the Basketball League that we spoke of. And the COVID situation came in, and then much of it, as you're saying, has basically died off. But Buffer Point is still going. So Sean, maybe you should take the leadership for us to start when the guys come to you and wanting to play, maybe give them some of the ropes as to how things can be done to set up their own little village community leagues, because it takes one community, one person in the community to start to strengthen the others, and maybe in the future have a district sports committee that can actually organize the competition that you speak of. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Well, I personally I'm willing and willing to lend my support in any in terms of sports development.
Yeah.
I'm always willing to lend my support when it comes to that. I can remember back in the day when we had our Southern District Sports Committee. It comprises of sports committees, all the different communities. They had a representative on that sports committee. And I like to shout out Mr. Brown, Abraham Brown. At the time, he was the sports officer. And he was the one who initiated that idea, because he went to all the different communities and he set up sporting committees, right? And he brought all of us together and we select a committee for the South. And at that time, it was led by Mr. Lestrade, Claudius Lestrade. And I was the treasurer at the time. And we organized different sporting tournaments. We did the Rounders. We did the Lambert Henderson Cricket League. We did football. So we did these free competitions. We did for 2 years. And then for some reason, the committee broke up, and then so it's a matter of bringing it back together. But one thing I must mention is that we cannot just say we're going to organize this competition, because without the different communities having been organized in terms of having their own sports club or their own sports committee. Because at the end of the day, you'll not be able to really organize a league for, let's say, I'm just going to use a committee, let's say Pichelay, and you want to invite Pichelay to a cricket tournament, but Pichelay is not organized. Exactly. So when time comes for games and stuff like that, you will find where they might be missing 1-2 players because they are not organized. So you'll want to make sure that each of the communities are organized before you even form that district committee that you're
looking for. Yeah,
because it will not be fair on a person to really start a committee by himself or 1-2 people, and you haven't visited. Let's say I haven't gone to Tetmon and meet with the Tetmon sportsmen and say, okay, that's what we want to do, and give us 2 representatives to form that committee. Go to Grand Bay, go to Dubic, go to Bellevue, Bellevue, Petit Savan is one now, and Pichelay, and get representatives from these different communities, bring them together and organize a proper committee. In that way, you find each area will be represented, because if a decision has to be taken and it's going to affect Pichelay or Bellevue, there will be somebody to speak on their behalf. They might say, well, okay, we can't have that game Bellevue, we can't have that game Pichelay. So, but if you have no representative for a community, you might take a decision that might be, not in their favor. So you really want to have somebody representing everybody, all the communities.
Yeah, Sean, you speak like a true community leader in sports, and it's nice to have you speak the language of community sports, and I'm happy that you are putting up your hands to assist with the program, and I think your involvement is one that is very sustained, because in spite of the 2 years of the COVID situation, Buffer Point is still going strong. I've organized competitions to start, but post the football competition? Are there any other sporting activities that you're planning to undertake? And when I say you, we're talking Bafo Point Sports Club.
Yeah. So one of the things that we did is we had a retreat, right? And I took that idea from this when we had the sporting the Southern District Sports Committee, where we met on a Saturday for the entire day, and we planned a year of activities, right? And then we planned all our tournaments and when they're going to take place, and in between tournaments, what we are going to do. And I implemented that with the Bafo Point Sports Club. So what we did, we met, and then we planned the different tournaments that we want to undertake for the year. And so after the football, we are hoping to have softball, cricket, followed by rounders and basketball. Usually we play the rounders and the basketball around the same time because the basketball is in the night and then the rounders is in the day. So as soon as the rounders is over, a lot of the people just move directly towards the court and enjoy some basketball.
And that is wonderful vibes coming from you, Sean. Wonderful vibes. So will I be able to play basketball in the next basketball league?
Well, I hoping so. Because one of the decisions that we took in our last retreat is to allow players from outside the community to participate in the team, because a lot of players from outside wanted to participate. I know my friend Yannick Regis wanted to play badly, and so I know come our new season, he is one of the players I'll be recruiting for my team. So a lot of you will be able to play, you'll be able to play, and you'll be able to get a free pass because you're one of the persons who been there before us from the beginning when we started our tournaments.
Yeah. But Yannick, I think Yannick could have gotten honorary status.
Yeah, he's getting honorary status. I'm not sure because he's one of the person when it came to basketball that the only person that we reached out to help us in terms of the basketball. He always willing to assist us. When we did the renovation of the basketball court, he was one of the lead person on that, and so we really appreciate the work. And the other thing, when you have persons in the surrounding communities that are resourceful persons, and then you can reach out to them, and they are willing to help out. So Yannick has been one of those persons when it comes to the basketball. Also, he has been one of our officials of the basketball tournament.
Well, well, I will tell you, even if I have been naturalized, and I'm a naturalized citizen in Bagatelle, I volunteer my services as a referee. I wouldn't be playing, Sean. I wouldn't be playing. All right,
I can write. I think you did a game for us the last season, yeah.
Yeah, but then I'm hoping that we can start the whole cut game, so the young guys in the community can actually learn the game as it's supposed to be played. But Sean, and for the rest of our listeners, we have another strong sports leader when we're talking community sports who have joined us, and that is none other than Miss Sheena Harry. And Sheena, welcome to the Sports Connection. Good evening.
Good evening, Yudi. Good evening, Sean. Thanks for having me.
Good evening.
You're welcome. And could you tell us who you are as it relates to community sports in Salisbury?
Sure. I am the chairperson of the Salisbury Sports Committee, a fairly young committee in its infancy, but still very active, very vibrant. So it's a pleasure to be on to talk to you about what we have going on in Salisbury.
Well, last year we had, I think you guys had what we refer to as the Bowie Road Race. Is there any plans for another one sometime soon?
Oh, yes, Yudi. We have the second annual. It's coming up on July 10th. And if you remember from last year, the Bowie Road Race is open to every age, every ability. Last year we had someone in her 50s who did the Bowie Road Race. Of course, the runners go from Coolidge through the community and to the playing field. So we welcome anybody who feels like they want to participate. It's July 10th, and you just have to register with any member of the Salisbury Sports Committee. It's $5 for registration, and the prizes and medals and trophies will be up for grabs.
Yeah, Sheena, that is nice vibe. Now, Sean told us that last weekend he had the Bolorama of the Baffa Point 8 versus 8 Football League. Is there anything similar to that happening in Salisbury?
Most definitely. The weekend before Father's Day, we had our own Bolorama to kick off the Bowie Football League. And so far, we have 5 teams registered to play in the league, and will officially begin matches on the weekend of July 16th, because we have to take a few weekends off. We have, like I said, we have the road race coming up, so we can't really have games that weekend. But from July 16th, we'll have matches for the Bowie Football League.
Yeah, and then we had the cricket weekend, which is the 3rd. The following weekend is the Bowie Road Race, and so obviously it makes sense for us to have it on the 16th. So I suppose just like the Baffa Point Sports Club, the Salisbury Sports Club is working as clean as a whistle with their own little schedules. But I got a little sips here of something happening on Saturday. Could you tell us what's happening on Saturday?
I don't know which bird that give you that sips.
Well, I should tell you, and I think the listener should be aware that much of what is being triggered in the community sports is much of an initiative of the sports division.
Definitely.
And if you know where I work, then you understand where I'm getting some information from.
So we cannot even have any secrets. But yes, this weekend.
Well, you can have secrets. If it's a secret, believe you me, the officer is going to keep your secret safe. But this weekend's hike is not a secret. Bring us up to speed about it.
But before I do that, I really want to thank the sports division, because you guys have been real supporters of the Salisbury Sports Committee. I mean, whatever we need, whatever we ask, whether it's something tangible or just the support. I remember for the Bowie Road Race last year, the sports officers came out in full force, and just to assist wherever they could along the route at the finish line. So I really want to thank the sports division for all you've done so far to push us and to keep us accountable and to just ensure that we keep going. But this weekend, we're hoping, fingers crossed, if all goes well, to have a hike to the Boiling Lake on Saturday. And again, that is, if all goes according to plan, that is what we're hoping to achieve on Saturday. We'll take the young people up to the Boiling Lake, a lot of them for their first time. So it will be quite the experience for them this weekend.
Well, I have walked the Boiling Lake Trail some time in the past. I think that was as far back as 1997, and it was a very nice trail. I mean, besides the length, it was not too challenging. So I'm sure with all those years past and tourism being what it is, the trail should be much easier to navigate. Sean, would you take it as an invitation to join the Salisbury Sports Committee? I think you guys are the two most vibrant sports committees we have in Dominica right now. Would you mind joining Sheena, Harry, and the Salisbury Sports Committee?
Well, yes, that's not a problem. Once we get the invitation, we will.
Sean, the invitation is open, eh? So, Yudi, in your presence, the invitation is open, Sean. So anytime you want to participate in any one of our activities, feel free.
All right, wonderful.
So Sean, I guess you're going to have to throw it out to the members of the group, and it's not just in my presence. You're saying international radio right here from the Genuine Songs of Dominica Caribbean FM. So you can't go back on your words, Sean. So coming Saturday, I'm expecting you guys to be out there once everything works out well, and I want to wish you guys well when you go through that process. But Sean, an idea came to my mind. The Salisbury Sports Committee is having a football league, and the Baffa Point Sports Club is having a football league. Is there any chance that at the end of it all that you guys pick up a what do you call it? An all-star team from both leagues and play each other in a series of matches?
Yes.
I saw that coming from a mile away, Sean. I knew Yudi would say something like
Well, I think that's a good suggestion because even after our leagues, what we just try and do is have like a little all-star games because the fans just be waiting for more sports.
Exactly.
And there's be a little break between one tournament and the other.
Okay,
So,
we have a caller on the line. Let's take this caller. Caller, welcome to the Sports Connection. Good evening. Caller, welcome to the Sports Connection. Good evening. Caller, good evening. Welcome to the Sports Connection. Okay, I think we've lost this caller. Yes, Sean, you were saying?
Yeah, I saying that is a possibility. Because one of the things that we are trying to do at the end of the league is to form a team to represent the Bafokeng community. Mm-hmm. So that would be a good opportunity to pick that team, to select the best players from the league and to go out there and show what they can do. So I think that's a good
I totally agree with that.
Well,
I absolutely agree because even in our league, we have teams coming from Cooley Stream, Monarchet area. We have three teams actually from Salisbury. So, and we have a team from the Haitian community as well in Salisbury. So that would be an ideal opportunity to select after the league an all-star team that can participate in other leagues across the country.
But I have a question for either of you through community sports. And the two of you are the leaders of for me, the two most vibrant sports communities on the island. What are some of the benefits that you as individuals get from being involved in the sports committees and organizing sporting activities for your constituents?
Sure. For me personally, Yudi, there's quite a bit of satisfaction that comes from being part of this committee. And it's not one of the pillars of our committee is not just about sports, not just about physical activity, but developing wholesome individuals, well-rounded individuals. So there's a lot of satisfaction when we look at the young people, when they come out for the activities. Even we do educational sessions as well, money management, sports administration, officiating. We have one coming up this week on sports injuries and treatment. So it's not just about playing the game. We want our young people to be well-rounded. We want them to be active, both physically and mentally. So there's a lot of satisfaction coming from that, when even if there's no financial gain, because a lot of it's voluntary. Sometimes a lot of the funds come out of our own pockets. So even if there's not a financial gain to it, but the satisfaction of seeing these young people happy, excited about an activity and developing people that we know will contribute, positively to society, that to me is enough. I don't think I need anything else from being on a sports committee.
I'm sure. Do you want to take a shot at that question?
Yeah, I think I just want to echo some of the things that she said, because the satisfaction that you get from organizing these leagues, it's so fulfilling. When we put on these leagues and then you see the support, especially when you get the support from the community, the come out and the support that you feel good, I feel good, right? And I've been involved in sports from a tender age, and I love sports, and I love putting on these tournaments. I love participating in it as well. I don't only lead the team in terms of organizing tournament, but I also participate as well. So it's very satisfying. And one of the things that she mentioned in terms of the different aspect of the game, in terms of the coaching, officiating, we haven't done any much courses around that line as a club, but we have done before tournaments. We just try to do for the cricket we did coach a day umpire course. We did that with Mr. Heston Charles. For the football, we try to get our officials day training, but the timing wasn't right. But some of the ideas that Miss
Harry.
Harry.
Yes, I think you muted yourself, Sean.
Some organize some other tournaments, other not tournaments, but training, other training. Yeah, so I think that's a good idea that she gave me there. I think I can take that up on board.
Well, I can always connect the two of you if you're not already connected, so that you guys could discuss ideas and exchanges. But the next question I want to ask you, seeing that you guys are so find it so rewarding and the benefits are so tremendous, what would you say to the other communities out there who are possibly considering setting up sports committees, or possibly how do I say it, probably have a sports committee already but not as active as you guys are? Well, what message would you send out to those sports committees? And while we're at that, we want to remind our callers, that our listeners, sorry, that if you want to engage these two sports leaders at the community levels, you could do that by calling us at 448-7334 or 305-906-6186. Yes.
Sure.
Well,
go ahead, Sean. No problem.
All right. Well, well, for me, right, it's just getting up and go and do it. Sometimes you just think like you want to. Because you have to put a lot of effort in that, right? A lot of effort. So sometimes you might get discouraged to really doing those things, especially as Ms. Harris said, it's not something that you get paid for. It's voluntary. So sometimes you might just give up and decide, well, you're not doing that again. So it's usually the love of it. You just have to get up and just say, hey, I'm going to do it and do it. And especially when you have a lot of young people participating, because they can't do it for themselves, right? And it's us that the grown-ups that really have to do it. If we don't do it, then we're just going to see our sports just die in front of us, and then we're going to see other countries doing well. I'm going to wonder how come St. Lucia have footballers playing in England, playing there, and Dominica, but we not doing anything as a community level to really help the national associations. So I just have to get up and just do it. I'm going to look for the financial reward. I mean, sometimes some people might check in, I don't get paid, I don't go in and do that. But hey, sometimes I don't know. You just have to get up and just go do it. Even for the sports club, we had a football academy.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Even before we started, since 2011, we had a football academy, and every Saturday I would dedicate my time and go and train from since 2011. So that over 10 years, and we have been doing that. We took a break recently because of the COVID, but hopefully we can start back with the academy. And I've never gotten paid for that, and I'm not looking to get paid. Is just the joy it brings me working with the children and stuff. So, and to encourage anybody who's willing to and the thing about there's people willing to support you,
Yes,
just
definitely.
have to get out there and stuff. There's businesses that willing to support. Sometimes you might feel, well, business not supporting sports, but they are supporting sports. You just have to go out there and present something to them that will make them want to support you.
Yes, give it a shot at that.
Sure.
What message do you want to send out to these other sporting leaders in those communities?
Of course, I agree with Sean 100%. I mean, people like to tend to sit back and wait for somebody else to do it. And if you keep that attitude and you keep waiting for somebody else to get up and organize something, then it'll never happen because everybody's looking at somebody else. So like Sean said, it's get up and do it. And I'm going to do a selfish plug and big up the other members of the Salisbury Sports Committee because, we've worked together. We've only been together for about 2.5 years, about 3 years. And most of that time was COVID time.
Yeah.
And we had to find ways to keep our young people engaged. We used to have virtual workouts every Tuesday and Thursday, different things like that. So you can't just wait on somebody to do it. The somebody has to be you. Yes, it might be discouraging. Yes, there'll be days where you say, boy, that's taking all my money. There'll be days when you don't want to go because you're tired and you know what my work schedule is like. And It's like, you have to leave that and go do this and so you'll get discouraged. But then we have to remember we have a responsibility to the young people. we owe it to them on some level to ensure that they are positively engaged. You know my family, you know my brothers, they're involved in sports.
Everyone
and there is no way I will let something like that fail, because I know what it does for them. I know where it can take them. So we owe it to them to do something like that, to keep the sports committee active. And I want to encourage other communities to do the same, because we've seen positive changes in some of our young people, I will tell you. Because one of our pillars, again, is discipline. And you know, without discipline in sports,
there's no success.
You go nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's one of the issues we've had with a lot of our athletes on island, is the discipline to train and the respect for themselves and each other. And we've seen a lot of change where some fellas used to curse all on the playing field all day. They know once they see us is a different vibe.
Things change.
You know, so we've seen that change. So we want to continue seeing that change. And if you want to see that change within your community, sports is an ideal way to see change in young people, to develop that respect and that discipline that they may lack. You know, whether it's about punctuality, whether it's about the way they dress, all these things you can change through sports. Sports is not just about being an athlete and just about jumping and running. It's about creating wholesome individuals. So I want to encourage any other community, any other person listening out there, that this is an avenue to do those things for the young people in your community.
Sean and Sheena, I want to commend you guys on your approach, because it speaks of some lack of selfishness and selflessness. And somebody said to me in the past that if you want to guarantee your safety, your peace of mind, when you're sitting home and relaxing in your hammock or on your rocking chair, when you'd have grown old, and feel safe, then the responsibility is ours now to provide opportunities in sports for our young people, so they could be positively engaged, so as they would develop that discipline that you spoke of, Sheena, and as a result you feel safe. And so the success of one generation depends heavily on what the generation before them provided for them. And I think the two of you guys are doing an exceptional job at that at the community level. But on this note, we're going to take some word from our sponsors, and I'm hoping that you guys could stay on still. But we're gonna, on the next side of the break, commercial break, we will be joined by Mr. Walson Packett, who is the Vice President of the Dominica Athletics Association, as he will tell us about some upcoming activities for track and field. On this note, we take some word from our sponsors, and we will be right back.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
We say welcome back and thank you for staying tuned in. For those of us who are tuned in on 88.7, 93.1 or 107.9, we say it's a pleasure. And those of us who are following via the Facebook Live, we want to say it's always a pleasure when you're part of our audience. We had Sheena, Harry, and Sean Martin with us, but we are now joined by Mr. Walson Packett. Walson, could you bring us up to speed as to what's happening with the Dominica Amateur Athletics Association as it relates to this weekend's activities?
Yes. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear right here on the Genuine Songs of Dominica Kyrie FM.
Okay. Good evening to you, Mr. John, and good evening to all the listeners of Kyrie FM.
Good evening.
Thanks for the formal introduction. Walson Packett, newly elected Vice President of the Dominica Amateur Athletic Association. And as you rightfully said, this weekend we will be having our major national championship and that is the Dominica Amateur Athletics Association Open National Championship. So it's scheduled for Sunday at the Benjamin Park in Portsmouth. This is another avenue that will give our athletes an opportunity to showcase their talent. We know they have been doing so all throughout the year, but locally here we can gather all our top athletes and have them showcase their talent in that one setting at the national champs. So you can look out for athletes such as Trennis Hamilton, who is our Carifta gold medalist, our silver medalist as well at the Carifta Games, Addison James. Okay, they will be among the top athletes this weekend on the stage at the National Open Championship. Also, you will see athletes such as Keva Pierre, who is National Women's 800 runner, and she just had a success at a recent concluded meet in Barbados, where she won gold. Also, Alika St. John will be on show this weekend. She just had a personal best throwing the discus 41 meters at a recently concluded meet over the weekend in Martinique.
Wow.
Our character athlete, yes, Nathan Selimak, combined event specialist, will also be competing at that event. And definitely we'll have the rest of the character team, our 100 and 200 meter sprint specialists in the name of Jamali Lawrence and Kirill Etienne. They will be competing as well, all right, giving us a show. So they will be along with oh yes, I forgot Kalima
Simon.
Kalima Simon as well. Yes, Kalima Simon. She will also be there. And we can look out for the long distance runner, Kala Bunch, who will be representing us at the upcoming 10K, CARICOM 10K in Suriname later this year. So there's quite a bit of athletes who will be on show this weekend, and we would like to urge the public to come out and support them. The support is greatly needed. Okay, it's not just the Athletic Association putting on the stage or providing the opportunities, but the public support plays a key role in the development of the sport and definitely development of the athlete.
Yes, Wally, it's summertime, or it's almost summertime, and I know we have some student athletes up there in Jamaica. Is there any chance that we'll see any of these athletes popping up locally to be on display?
We would love these athletes to come home and display their talents locally, but it just so happens that many nations currently, many countries, are hosting their nationals around that very same time.
Okay, so top athletes out there would be
Barbados, Trinidad, yes. So given that we don't have the necessary facilities and they are where there is an opportunity, we allow them to compete. Not for the national.
But the flyer says the 2022 National Open Championship. Does that mean there will be no categories? It's just female 100, male 100, 200 male, 200 female?
That is definitely correct. It's an open event, so there was no category, just open. Anyone can come ahead, can come and can compete. So it's not like the other meets where we categorize the athletes under 18, under 20, under 15, under 13. There's none of these categories at this meet. It's an open championship.
Well, Mr. Packett, I know the association is on a new drive for keeping the nation informed as to what is happening in track and field. You mentioned on the weekend we had Alika John out there in Martinique. You also mentioned we had Keva Pierre in Barbados, and we will be having some of these athletes going out at the Caribbean at the inaugural Caribbean Games. Is there anywhere where we could follow what's happening? Any Facebook page that of the DAAA that we could follow?
Yes, the DAAA Facebook page is active. It's up and running. We know Facebook is the most popular medium for advertising, so we utilize it a lot. The website is also functional, so you can follow there. If for the competitions, for example, at the inaugural Caribbean Games, there are links to view the games live, it will be definitely posted on the Facebook page of the Athletic Association. So we publicize, we do keep the public updated as to what's happening in terms of track and field, locally, regionally, with all our athletes who are stationed in different countries around the world. All right, in terms of their performances, we saw a number of national records went down to a number of our athletes who are currently out of state trading but representing us.
Okay, but Sean, we have with us Sean Martin and Sheena Harry, and earlier you mentioned Currell Etienne. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Currell Etienne hails from the community of Bagatelle, in the general area of the Baffa Point area, and we've heard calls from Sean Martin, who is, like you, a sports leader. Although the name of his club is Baffa Point Sports Club, I think that organization operates more as a village sports committee, and you would be the president of the Athens Athletics Club. I'm down there in the same general area, and he made a call for community sports. I know Mr. Walsey Packet can be stretched thin, and he is a very dedicated individual. Is there by any chance you would like to probably take on the call from Mr. Sean Martin to maybe start the process for a sports committee in the Grand Bay area, to be part of a sports committee in the Grand Bay area? Because I'm sure the sports officer in the area would be having that as part of his plans in the development for sports at the community level. Would you like to be part of that?
Yes, definitely. And as you rightfully said, the sports officer have definitely made contact with me. Read that, but as I said, I don't want to take the sole responsibility to be at the helm of that. I know what's on my plate, and I don't want it to overflow and be overwhelmed. I know my limits, and I stay within its parameters. So definitely, if the call is there, and there is the need to form a sports committee in the general Grand Bay catchment area, then yes, definitely I would be on board.
So Sean, you got a soldier already, right, Sean?
But,
well, yes.
Well, Sean, I worked with Sean because I think we worked on there was the Southern Sports Committee.
Yes, the Southern District Sports Committee, yes.
Yes, and then that just kind of fell apart. But still, if we had to revive it and make it work better than it was before, then definitely I would be on board for that.
All right, then.
We had 2 strong years of steady competitions.
Yes,
so,
that is true. And also, Mr. John, if you just permit me, also at the national, there will not just be athletes on show. There will also be an opportunity for the athletes themselves to vote for their male and female representatives to complete this newly elected executive. So the male and female athletes who will be voted at the nationals by the athletes, all right, they will form part of the association. And the nominees for female rep, there are 2 athletes, that's Miss Jamasha Mello and Keva Pierre, while for the male, there are also 2, Mr. Kearney Jejak and Mr. Judah Corrier. So these are the 2 athletes, these are the 4 athletes who will be going up for male and female rep, respectively.
Well, Sean, if you're wondering why I will not be in Bagatelle on Sunday for the wonderful football that you're planning between those teams, I will be joining Mr. Walsey Packet out there as an official at the Benjamin Park for the national championship. So Walsey, we will definitely be seen out there over the weekend. Once weather permits and once everything remains well, I should be there. Then you were saying?
Yes, I was saying that I would urge the public to come and support our local athletes who have been in top form throughout the season as they look to be bestowed the title of national champion. And based on the performances we have seen this season, I can guarantee the public you won't be disappointed. Not at all. You won't be.
Yeah.
Their support is of paramount importance to the development, holistic development, I should say, of the athlete and the sport in Dominica on a whole.
But I think your mandate is to develop and to grow the sport of track and field on the island. Miss Harry, I just want to trouble you on that, and I want to ask Wilson, are you going to sound the call to Miss Harry to start developing track and field athletes in the greater Salisbury area?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. The necessary channels, the necessary support is there. Once she's interested, then definitely she can contact me. She can contact any one of the association. We could have a new club from the Salisbury area, and we will support them. Because the more clubs you have, the more athletes you get, the more clubs to see on display, the more talent, hidden talent that is discovered in that way.
Okay, we have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to the Sports Connection. Good evening. Caller, welcome to the Sports Connection. Good evening. Okay, I think we lost that caller. But Chino, surprising, let him know that you as a sports committee is already organizing track and field activities now.
I was about to say, I hope Walson was listening from the beginning, because he would have 2 years now. We trying to boost athletics in the Salisbury area. Walson, so this year we have our second annual road race coming up. Last year it was a tremendous success, huge turnout, huge participation. So it's coming up on July 10th. So I welcome members of your association. I remember Mr. Dorset was there with us last year. I welcome members of your association to join us on July 10th and see what our athletes have to offer. I'm sure a couple of them will really surprise you, because they surprised me last year, with their abilities. So the association invitation open to you guys to come and check them out, and maybe we can work on a club, an athletics club for the area.
Okay, great. I love that initiative. It's the first time I'm hearing of it. Yeah? Me personally, it's the first time I'm hearing of it, so I love it. It sends shiver for my body. Anything that has to do with athletics and road racing, for sure. I think anyway we could give our support. We would definitely do so to see your event, really grow in the not too distant future. Because down in the south, I normally have same event, same road race. It's called the Easy the Road Race, which is a very big event. You have over 250 participants. So I know what you're talking about when you talk about road race. Yes.
All right, gentle people. Certainly the conversation is overwhelming. I know I stole a lot of you guys' time this evening, but I'm happy for it, because as we can see the collaborative efforts, as we now recognizing that the sports committees, they actually help with the development of sport and the sports at the sporting association levels, and for the development of clubs. So I'm hoping that you guys could start to collaborate. Maybe what we could do is create a link between these entities, so we could have some discussion going among you, so you could share some ideas. Well, what do you make of that suggestion? Anybody could take the mic.
Yes, I think that's a good suggestion, because for me, I always say, in unity is their strength, and I will leave it at that. That speaks volume right there. So with more we can collaborate and share ideas and come together, it's bigger and better we will make not just athletics, but sports on a whole in the Commonwealth.
All right, we just want to tell our callers that our listeners that those of you are listening and you want to engage these individuals. We have Sean Martin from the Baffa Point Sports Club, Sheena Harry from the Salisbury Sports Committee, and Mr. Wilson Packett, who is the Vice President of the Dominica Athletics Association. The numbers to call are 448-7334 if you want to reach us on the local line of 305-906-6186 if you want to do that on the overseas line. And there's a caller who've been trying to reach us. You could come trying back. You could keep trying, and we're hoping that we're able to make that connection with you. Again, the numbers to call are 448-7334 and 305-906-6186. And the question is to any of you, COVID has impacted us a lot, and now that we've been lifting up some of the protocols, where do you think Dominica is as it relates to sports at the community level? Do you see a zeal for sports in Dominica right now?
Oh yes, Yudi. I would say that we have been craving sports for the past couple of years. I mean, that's evident in the support we saw for the Dreamy level, those kind of things. That even on the more localized level, the community level, when we had our Father's Day cricket on Sunday, it was amazing to see the number of people who turned out because they have that yearning, that craving for sports because nothing beats competition. People love good competition, and sports is a very positive way to foster competition. So yeah, and we've been yearning for that, and with COVID-19 had us locked down, we as a committee, like I mentioned before, we tried to still keep our young people active because everything was virtual. So we did virtual workouts twice a week. We continued to do our educational sessions. We tried to keep them involved, but it was very difficult to do that with the restrictions and with all the safety measures that we had to take. So right now, I think now is a time to build on that momentum, to really hit the iron while it's hot, so to speak, because people are really craving sports. With cricket coming to Dominica, West Indies cricket coming to Dominica, everybody is hyped about these things. So yeah, on a community level, I think we can really build on that momentum and see where that can go for us. And I'm going to do this on behalf of my committee. I'm going to ask that anybody who's out there who wants to support the Salisbury Sports Committee, feel free to do that. Because, like we said, the people are yearning for it. They're craving that. They want that kind of excitement within the community. They want somewhere to be on a Sunday afternoon. They want to go watch the football. They want to go watch the cricket. We're also planning a 3-on-3 basketball league, Bowie Ball, coming up in September. Hopefully, all goes according to plan. That will happen in September. So people want something to do, somewhere to be, something positive, a positive vibes. So yeah, anybody who wants to support, whether it's private organization, the public sector, whatever, we welcome that support, for the Salisbury Sports Committee, and of course any other entity, sports entity on the island, because I know, everybody can attest to the fact that craving, that yearning for sports is there right now.
I think, Miss Harry, you sung the call. Is there any contact information that you'd like to share with the listening public? I did not recognize how widely this Sports Connection show is listened, because you would not believe I was walking on the street and I spoke to somebody, and there was a gentleman in his vehicle and his glass was not all the way up, and he stopped in the road and he said, "I know that voice. I don't know the person, but I know that voice." And I said, "Sports Connection." He said, "Oh yes." So, and he looked like a corporate citizen. So there would be some corporate citizens who are listening, or heads of corporate citizens that are listening. And would you want to share any contact information? And that is for all three of you, for your various organizations that you represent, that you could share, so in case some people want to partner with you all.
Of course, for sure. Anybody can reach me. You can contact me at 315-9868. That's 315-9868. And, we can liaise and we can discuss. Of course, telephone is the easiest way to reach me. So you can do that. Just give me a call anytime and lend your support, because like I said, it's our responsibility to the young people. We have so many things that we need to get done as a committee. We have facilities that we need to, we need work on, because in the Salisbury area, our facilities are lacking. And we, all of these things we cannot do on our own. So we are really hoping that the corporate citizens will come out and lend their support to us, as a committee. Funding is something that we will try to raise, of course, on our own, but it will take help from outside. It will take help from corporate citizens. It will take help from the public sector for us to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. So just give me a call, 315-9868.
Well, once the packet, you're not just the vice president of a national association, but you're also involved in community sports as the president of the Athon Sports Club. Among those two entities, those two organizations, are there any contact information you would like to share with our listeners in case they would like to partner with you?
Oh yes, definitely. I can be, in terms of the association, I can be contacted at 316-5061. And I could definitely liaise anybody who wants to partner with us to the right channels and to the right people, so that the connection could be done properly. On that same number, as president of the athletics club, you would have to deal with me. There's a whole proposal in place. We have a sports plan, action plan. Okay, so we just want the support to come on there. Our membership is definitely growing. We went from 20 something to now we are 75 after the COVID. So definitely, as Tina said, the interest in our young people for sports, the craving is definitely high, and we are running with it, we are going with it, and we are going to continue to create the avenue so that they can channel their energy and see the holistic development in our young people. So yes, I can be contacted at 316-5061. Anybody is willing to partner, anybody who is willing to sit and discuss or talk and discuss proposals and plans, I could share, and we could definitely start something from there.
All right. Now, Sean, that question you're not immunized to it either. So, would you like to share some of the contact information that to it if people are wanting to help you guys?
Yes, Judy, most definitely. You can contact us on our Facebook page, Baffin Point Sports Club. You can send us a message on there, or you can call me at 615-5914. There's always areas where we can partner with anybody. Don't have to be a business place. It could be an individual, because even for our tournaments that we have in recently, well, right now, we've seen persons from the community, especially some of the diaspora, reaching out to us and sponsoring the league. So as small as it can be, it could be a trophy you can sponsor, we'll accept it. It could be a ball you can provide for the tournament, we'll accept it. It could be a bat, whatever it is. As small as it might be, you might think is a small contribution, but it will go a long way. And one of the things that we are looking to erect is a sports bar and a storeroom at the same time, so that we could store all our sporting gears and also be able to use it to raise funds. And we are missing a few building materials. So if anybody out there are willing to donate some plywood and some galvanized to the Baffin Point Sports Club so that we could construct our sports bar / storeroom, will be willing to accept that.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen and lady. As you guys spoke, I've been thinking, because ahead of mine it big a little bit, and sometimes it just think a lot. I've been thinking as you guys speak this evening, maybe we should have another discussion sometime soon, and maybe a nice little panel discussion and talk sports administration at the community level, because I think you guys are doing a tremendous job at your various communities, and I'm hoping that the call that you would have sounded off this evening would have gone out loud and clear to our listeners, and I'm hoping that the other sports leaders in those communities could take the mantle that you guys have taken. Are there any final words that you guys would like to share this evening before we get dismissed from the capacities that you guys are on the show this evening? Because I'm hoping that following this discussion, Sheena, we can talk NBA, because we have the Golden State Warriors and championship. Some final words in your capacities this evening before we shift the discussion.
Sure. I just want to again encourage people to come out and support the Salisbury Sports Committee. Like I said, we have a couple of our flagship activities coming up: the Bowie Road Race on July 10th, and of course the Bowie Football League. The Ballarama was a couple weekends ago, but the matches will begin on the weekend of July 16th. And Bowie Ball, we're hoping to start in September. So just come out and support us. Like Sean said, anything will suffice. We will accept and appreciate any kind of support. If you cannot give something in cash, give it in kind. Come out and say, okay, you know what? I will officiate for you. I will referee for you. Whatever you can do to support us, or just come out on the day and encourage the young people, because that kind of encouragement goes a very long way. You know, it's so motivating for them to see fans on the sidelines cheering them on, rooting for them. When we had the Bowie Road race, people followed them along the route and were cheering them on. So that kept them motivated. So come out and lend your hand. Do whatever you can, however you can support us. That would be great. Again, July 10th is this weekend, all goes well, we'll have our hike to the Boiling Lake, July 10th, Bowie Road Race. And then from the 16th onward, we'll do the Bowie Football League. So support us in your capacities, please. We would greatly appreciate that.
Sean, your final words in your capacity as president of the Baffa Point Sports Club?
Okay, you did. I just want to thank you for having me. You told me I'll be on for 5 minutes. It's more than an hour now. Thanks for having me. I just want to shout out there my members of the sports club, the Baffa Point Sports Club. Wish them a pleasant good night. And also ask the members of the committee, a person in the committee, to come out on the weekend and support the effort of the sports club, and as Sheena said, to help in any way that you can. Those that can officiate, those that can assist in terms of staying in our bar force and helping us in any way possible. So we just want to encourage everybody to come out this weekend and support the effort of the sports club.
Okay, this is at Saturday at 4. We have one game, and then on Sunday from 3 o'clock. We start the competitions again down there at the Baffa Point, at the Bagatelle playing field. Yes, Wally, we have the next thing is on Sunday, the national championship in track and field, national open championship that is. Give us a final words in that regard, and if there are any other competitions that will be undertaken by the Athletics Association in sometime soon.
Yes, I thought I was giving parting words.
Yes, parting words, but you can also tell us, like Sheena did, all the way down to September, we have the Bowie Ball. So if you have any other competition planned, yeah.
I understand.
All right.
So definitely we'd love to urge the public to come out and support the athletes at the national. Just to reiterate what Ms. Harris said, their support as fans, as well-wishers, is of paramount importance. And it's not just for the nationals, but it's for other organized events from the Athletic Association. There will be the club champs later down from the summer. There will be the juvenile champs for the younger ones, under 15, under 10, under 11, and little ones even under 4, all right, to some extent. And later down in September, December, we will have the road race series beginning. So all of this information will be posted on our Facebook, and it will be communicated via the various mediums to the public, so they can definitely come out and support our athletes as they vie and as they compete through all the events of the athletic association. And I would just like to add my call, because I realized that we are singing the same song, if I should put it this way, that volunteerism is key, and we're asking for volunteers. Even our sports leaders to join the sports clubs to play an active role, you need to volunteer. There's no payment, but volunteerism itself has its own intangible reward.
Certainly.
It's not money, yes. So most people don't see that way because they look for something tangible when they volunteer. But I can say this, okay, I can bear witness to this, that volunteering has its own intangible rewards that you will reap, and you will never know how far this can definitely take you in terms of your personal development and development of sports at the community, even at the national and even regional level as well. So these are my parting words to the general public.
All right, thank you guys. No, Sheena, as I promised, we're going to talk a little bit basketball. Yeah, you know that. Sean, I know you're that basketball fan, Sean. What you guys made of the NBA Finals?
I find it was competitive in its sense. I'm a Lakers fan, but I wanted Golden State to go with that. you know already, Lakers and Boston is rivalry. So but if it was a good finals, I would expect the Golden State to win, and yeah, I'm satisfied with the way it turned out.
No,
Yeah,
Sheena,
yeah,
I
man.
know you were battling. I'm hoping that you were a supporter of Boston, like our friend Rima.
No. I'm a die-hard Bulls fan. I'm going to have to say that. I'm going to confess that. I'm a die-hard Bulls fan ever since I was probably 4 years old.
Yeah.
And I've never wavered. So I was very proud to see my team make it to the playoffs. We didn't get as far as we wanted to go, but it's been ages. So I was very proud of that. I think it's been a long time since we've looked forward to playoffs like that.
Yeah.
And I think this season people really were hyped about the playoffs. And it didn't disappoint. So yeah, it was a good playoff. It was a good final. I think when we all kind of had that expectation. I hope my friend Rima doesn't vex with me for saying that, but we kind of had that expectation that Golden State would win. But Boston put up a good show, and so they should be very proud of what they accomplished as a team, because I don't think anybody really expected them to get that far, and they did that. So kudos to them. But yeah, it was a good season. Honestly, this season was one of the better seasons we've had in a while.
In a long time.
Yeah, man.
You know what I liked particularly is Boston's run for this season. I mean, at the preseason level, when I looked at the Chicago Bulls, I had put them right up there among the elite teams. Unfortunately, they wavered sometime during the middle of the season and they dropped. But the Celtics run in the finals was pretty interesting. I wouldn't lie. I really enjoyed them going through. I mean, in spite of the fact that I was supporting Steve Kerr and Steph Curry, but I like to see what I saw from the Boston Celtics, and I think if the Boston Celtics had a better facilitator in terms of the point guard, I'm taking nothing from Marcus Smart, because his nose hard, in your nose, kind of in your face defender, and you love to have that. As a point guard, but I think he lacked the ability to maestro the offense, and that put a lot of pressure on Jason Tatum to do that, and as a result, we had all those turnovers, and he was unable to think. But I think the other mistake that the Boston coach did was trying to contain Steph Curry, playing him on what we refer to as box on one. Deny him the ball from the onset. I think Steph Curry is going to run around you and is going to tire the individuals that you'd assign to him. And in spite of the fact that Game 5, that he only scored 16 points, I mean, he still won the they still won that game. As opposed to Game 1, when he scored maybe 37 or 40 something points, and then Boston won. So I think the coach did not see or did not use what worked for him when they won the first their 2 games that they won. I think moving away from that and strategizing, trying to contain Steph Curry, I think that it eased up the offense for the other players. And
that's what I was gonna say, that Udi. I think they neglected the fact that Golden State has such a deep team. When you have other guys that can score, that they don't necessarily have to depend all the time on Steph to score. He's an excellent scorer, he's an excellent shooter, we know that. But there are other people on the team that can do it as well. So when you neglect the others, like Charles Barkley always called them the others, when you neglect the others, then that always happens.
I like the fact that Steph Curry has now won 4 championships. Basically, his teams are homemade teams, let's call it quote unquote, except for the 2 championships when Kevin Durant came in. But do you consider that team to be a dynasty team?
I believe so, Yudi. I believe so. But I think a lot of teams, though, are learning how to play them a lot better. I think like a few seasons ago, they were so extraordinary that teams couldn't handle them at all. Teams had no idea what to do with them. But I've noticed that the other teams are getting better at playing against Golden State. So it keeps things interesting.
Steph Curry is at 34. injury has taken its toll on every one of them. Draymond Green, Steph Curry, the other Splash brother. What's his name? What's the other Splash brother's name? Thompson.
Yeah,
Klay Thompson, yeah. And I think injury has taken its toll and they're getting older. But the NBA is growing more. What I think I love the most about the NBA season this year is the adaptability of Steve Kerr. I think he was able to adapt to when people throw new things at him that he probably had not planned for in the middle of a game. I could see that he was able to adapt. And I think that is one of the strengths of the Golden State Warriors. But taking nothing away from them, I think they made a good run. But the last question maybe to Sean. Sean and Shina, you can answer that too. Do you think Steph Curry, arguably or indisputably, he is the best shooter ever in the NBA? Do we start to put him in the good conversation?
Most definitely. Ray Allen was my guy when it comes to the 3-pointer. But right now, I think Steph took that trophy. He took the crown.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that, and I have a little brother. If I don't agree with that, he might never talk to me again. So I'm going to agree, because honestly, I mean, and we see there's a lot more style and flash to his game. You understand? Like before, it was done. It's a basic. You shot the ball, that's it. But now we see all these trick shots. We see all this, and a lot. We have to recognize that sports is entertainment too. And once you can grab that attention, it's the entertainment factor part of it, not just the scoring, but the fact that he does it with such charisma, so to speak. That in itself is something commendable. So yeah, I put him in the good top for sure.
All right, gentlemen and ladies, sorry. I like to end on a local note. Tomorrow we have the secondary schools T20 finals, the first of its kind. And this year we had all the teams, they were clad in uniform provided by the sports division and the Ministry of Sports. And tomorrow's final, we have Kyron Phillip going up against Yawanni Regis, two of our local young talents. And they will be at the Benjamin's Park tomorrow from 2 o'clock to battle out the final. And so we want to encourage those of us who can make it there to go and throw our support at our youth. I mean, we can tell of the excitement that we have for our international stars, but we need to celebrate our youth as well, celebrate our local stars. And I'm sure that these individuals would be happy to see a crowd turn out at the Benjamin Park tomorrow afternoon. So I just want to sound the call. Let's go out there and support these gentlemen as they represent themselves, their families, and their schools, and by extension Dominica, as the talents will be displayed. For those of us who are wondering, this will be streamed live. That match will be streamed live tomorrow, and it will be streamed live tomorrow. And let me give you the information as it relates to the streaming of that game. It will be streamed via Vibian TV, and where else? It will also be streamed on the Sports Division Facebook page and the Government of Dominica Facebook page. So there is enough information that we can share it, view it if we are unable to make it there. But I would be happy if we could turn out to the Benjamin Park tomorrow and support our youth. So once again, I say thank you to our panelists this evening. It was a pleasure having you. I know I promised you 5 minutes of your time, and you've given me as much as almost an hour and a half. So I want to say thank you guys, and it's a pleasure to have you right here in the studios of Kyrie FM, be it virtually, that is, as we speak on the Sports Connection. So it was a pleasure having you, and good evening.
All right, thank you, Yudi. Good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, and good evening.
This was another episode of the Sports Connection.
Did you love this show? Then call us at 614-3385 to find out ways that you can support this program. Thank you for tuning in, and keep it locked to your genuine